Present, all counsel are present, jury and also present. Mr. Baker, you're still under oath. You may continue.
Thank you. Mr. Baker, I think we left off with you and Mr. Austin somewhere in the area. You see him, is that correct? You run into him?
Run into him, and we go, and I wind up going to the bowling alley.
Okay. Did you ever see the Porsche again?
I saw the Porsche later that night.
Okay. Before then, what do you do after you're at the bowling alley?
Get rid of the clothes. Get rid of the clothes I was wearing. I was wearing.
What about Mr. Austin's clothes?
He might have put one or two items in the bag that I wanted to get rid of, but I'm not sure.
Did you have a change of clothes with you?
Yeah, I did.
And where did you put the clothes that you wore during the murder?
Threw it in the trash.
Did you have them in a bag or?
Yeah, put them all in the bag.
The what?
Put them all in the bag and just threw them out.
The pillow bag you had?
No, just a separate bag. It was a separate bag.
What'd
The
you
pillow
do with-
bag I got rid of someplace else.
And where did you get rid of that?
I got rid of that where in the neighborhood before I pulled off.
In what, a trash bin?
Yeah, it was trash bins.
So then you get rid of your clothes in what, a trash bin again?
Yes, a separate one.
Do you have any idea what location that's at?
The trash bin for the clothes was near the bowling alley.
Okay. So what do you and Mr. Austin do next?
I tell him, because it's kind of close to where I stayed at, I tell him to make sure he's back at that bowling alley. I think it was, I don't know, 7:30. I can't remember the time. It was like, I just needed to show up for work and clock in.
You're talking about going to
The
LA
Fitness? Yes.
To clock in is what, an alibi?
Right. Because I'm usually there all the time anyway, so I really don't need to clock in per se, because I'm always there, so people would always assume I was there anyway. That was my thinking for that moment. So I tell him just to meet me at that whatever time that was. I go to the house.
Well, who had the car?
He had the silver car.
And how were you going to get to
I'm
work?
going to take my car, my truck, and go to work.
Where was your truck?
It was in the apartment complex.
So it was still working?
No, we got it working because it just needed a new battery. That's all it needed.
All right.
So it was fine because it was giving me problems.
So do you lose sight of Mr. Austin at that point?
I did.
And the last you saw him, he was doing what?
He was sitting in the car in the driver's seat.
The Versa?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Does he drive away?
I don't remember. I just jogged because I'm just jogging. I'm getting ready to go to my complex.
Okay.
And get my gear.
Okay. And then what happens?
So I go get my gear, go to the job, check in, and when I go check in, I clock in, and that's when I hear a lot of people talking about that they just found out that this thing just happened.
Do you have any idea what time of day or night this is?
It's 6:30ish, 7.
Okay. And what do you do next?
I want to get out of there. I want to get out of there as fast as possible. I just wanted to show up in
So how long would you say you're there?
30-40 minutes.
And then where do you go?
I go back to the apartment complex, and no. I go to the bowling alley, and I meet up with Austin. So
You supposed to meet there?
yeah, because I told him to meet me at a specific time, so I didn't even take the truck back to the apartment. I went straight to the bowling alley and parked the truck there, and met with Austin. And I want to get him on the way. I want to get him out of there.
All right. Do you remember anything about a ticket?
He told me about the ticket. Yeah, he told me he got some kind of stupid ass seatbelt ticket while he was out. Unbelievable. But yeah, he told me about the ticket, and I told him before, you need to get this taken care of ASAP. Use a money order.
Why were you so concerned?
So that way it wouldn't. Hopefully it would get. I don't know how the system works. Hopefully it would get out the system as soon as it was paid off, and it wouldn't cause notice. That was the thought. I wanted to get rid of it.
You didn't know it would take 3 or 4 years for them to find the ticket.
Yeah, I didn't know, but I knew it would take a while.
So what happens next?
take him to the nearest bus station. I give him money.
You don't take him back to LAX.
No, I take him to a bus station
You know where the bus station was?
somewhere in Van Nuys. It was like by the flyaway, near the flyaway.
Is it one of those flyaway buses that go to the airport?
It wasn't. I didn't take him exactly into that flyaway because I noticed cameras. So I took him away from there
Was
to
he
a bus
supposed
station.
to go there?
Yeah, I told him to get the flyaway or grab a cab. He had the money for it.
So the last time you see him that day is where?
At the bus station I drop him off at.
Okay. And so he goes to LAX by himself.
Yes.
Now, when was he scheduled to return to Alaska? If you know.
I believe it was either that morning or that next morning or the next day or something like that.
And do you know when he, in fact, did fly back to Alaska?
No.
Where do you go next?
I'm going to try to go back to the house or back to the apartment, and I'm going to try to get rid of everything that belongs to her that's in that house.
Anything that belongs to Monica?
Yes,
Do you do that?
I do.
You ever see the Porsche again?
I do.
When?
After I get rid of everything in the house that I feel that the house is clean. It's
What types of things are we talking
Just
about?
clothes. Just clothes and stuff like that.
That she kept at your house?
Yeah, just clothes. Just a couple pieces of clothes and stuff like that. Anything that I think might track her to me, because I feel that, you know, they're going to definitely look into her really hard. So I want to get rid of anything that shows we had a relationship.
Is it your belief they know that you are having a relationship, or anyone knows, or?
The only one who knows is just Ricky and Sheila. That's it, really.
Okay.
Everybody else know.
But you don't know who Sheila's talked to or anything.
No, I don't know anything like that yet. I have no idea.
You've been out socially with Monica for several months, right?
Correct.
Okay. So, you mentioned something about the Porsche.
So
What do you do about the Porsche?
So after I finally figure out the apartment thing, and I figure it's safe enough to, I'm actually paranoid and don't want to go outside, but I do.
Where do you put the clothes or the things that you take out of your apartment that belong to Monica?
For the moment, I put it in the in my truck. No, not yet. Not the truck. Not yet. Not yet. That was later. I just put it. Yeah, I put it in the silver car. I remember now. I put it in the silver car.
And does it stay there, or do you eventually get rid of it?
I don't know. I take the silver car. I go to the truck. Put everything in the truck, and at this point, I'm actually thinking about leaving town. I'm thinking about going to. I want to go to Vegas. I want to get out of there.
Okay, but I assume when you say that you don't go to Vegas. Then.
I don't.
What do you do?
I'm thinking about the Porsche
Why?
because it's in an area where I left it where there's cameras, and I know if I leave it there, and chances are someone's going to find it, that there's an abandoned black camera, an abandoned black Porsche sitting there, and call it in, and they're going to start canvassing, and then they're going to start seeing footage. So I need to go back and move that Porsche. So
Do you do that?
yeah, I go to the Porsche.
How do you get there?
I drive this silver car
Okay.
to the Porsche.
Then what?
Actually, I don't go exactly yet to the Porsche. I go to a store and pick up cleaning supplies to try to clean it out to make sure it's clean.
Trying to clean the Porsche?
No, but that too. But I clean. I clean. I go get the cleaning supplies, park the silver car, and I walk to the Porsche. And I go to a strip mall. And pick up cleaning gear at some kind of strip mall. I forget the name of it. So I have to walk. I want to walk to the Porsche.
Do you do that?
Yeah, for about a quarter mile. Because I don't want to be. I want to approach the Porsche carefully, just in case they already found it or something. So
All right. Did you get to the Porsche?
I did get to the
Did it
Porsche.
appear to be in the same place you left it?
Same place.
All right.
So-
Then what'd you do?
I try my best to clean it out best I can, and
When you say clean it out best you can, what are you talking about?
just using towels, napkins, Clorox, everything. I bought all that stuff and just try to clean it out. No, wipe the prints down, all that stuff best I can. So I'm still paranoid because black Porsche is easy to find, and I know they're looking for it.
Okay.
They're looking for it.
Then what?
So I remember hearing that the car had some kind of device on it or something. I don't know, that sends emails or something like that. So I really don't want to drive the car. So
You mean that would help find it?
yes. So it's got me kind of paranoid. But I want to get that car out of there. So I basically get in the car, drive it to the spot that they found it.
Where was that?
Over there, and where I just found an area that looked like it had no cameras. It kind of looked like it had no cameras. I didn't even know the area. I just drove
like
around.
An abandoned area, like?
It was no, it was a residential area, but it still had homes in it, but it was not like congested.
Was it on the street or someplace else?
It was on the street. It was on the street, but it was like not where a whole bunch of houses were.
Okay. You
And,
thought it was safe there for at least a while.
And I'm also thinking that they're tracking the car, so I need to get out of that car as fast as possible too.
And do you get out of there?
Yeah, I drop it off, and
What do you do with the keys?
I go to the bus station. I mean, I go back to Ventura, answer your question, and then I get on the bus.
I'm going to interject. Non-responsive.
It is.
Move to strike.
Stricken.
Okay.
All right, question answered in a can.
Again, no question pending, Your Honor. Move to strike.
There's no question pending. Stricken.
What did you do with the keys?
I put it in a can,
Where?
in the trash can, in a can,
Near where you had left it or somewhere else?
somewhere else,
And then where do you go?
down Ventura Boulevard,
Where do you end up?
back towards the car.
The Versa?
Yes.
And what do you do then, Mr. Baker?
Get in the Versa, and I go to I just drive around for a while to keep a look on it, to look around and see if there's
Are you
Police.
seeing or hearing any law enforcement or fire engines or anything of that nature responding to the murder?
not anymore.
You're out of the area?
I'm still around,
Where do you go?
all over the valley
Just driving?
for now.
What, thinking of what happened?
Just watching, just keeping an eye on things.
Do you ever learn if Mr. Austin, in fact, flew out of LAX?
Well, I'm going to object to the call.
Well, I'll rephrase it.
Speculation.
Very well.
I'll rephrase it. When do you hear next from Mr. Austin?
I think it was the next day.
Okay. Do you know if he flew back on the flight he was scheduled to fly back on or changed his ticket?
Same objection.
Sustained.
I'm sorry?
I was just telling the witness there was no question pending.
Okay, so we left you in what car are you driving now? The Versa?
The Versa.
Where do you go? That night.
Like I said, I'm all over the valley.
Where do you end up?
I eventually end up dropping the car off at Enterprise.
That's where it had been rented from?
Yes.
By Paula?
Yes.
And how do you get from the Enterprise to your residence?
I go from Enterprise to my truck. They drop me off.
Who dropped you off?
The Enterprise people.
Okay, so they drop you, take you back where you want to go when you turn in their car.
Yes.
Okay, that's why you use Enterprise.
Yep.
Where do you go in your car?
Object to Sue's.
I'm sorry?
Sue's facts, not evidence.
Overruled.
What was the question again?
I assume you get in your car.
Okay.
Where do you go? It's a long time ago, I understand.
It is.
Objection to counsel testifying.
I want to ignore that.
I wind up eventually in Vegas.
Do you go straight to Vegas or stop anywhere else?
No, let me back up. I didn't go to Vegas. I didn't. I still stuck around because I still had to work. I still had to work. I didn't
So-
go yet.
So you go home?
Yeah, I know. I don't go home. I'm kind of like in and out. I'm not going home yet because I'm still paranoid. So no, I'm not going home yet.
Okay.
And
Where do you end up?
I wind up staying in the car all day, paranoid. So until that night where I had to work again at the LA Fitness.
So you go back to LA Fitness.
Work, show up, go to work.
You'd already been there once, established the alibi.
That was the day before. This is the next day we're talking about.
Okay, so now we're on the next day, Tuesday?
Right. Yes,
Okay. You go to LA Fitness that day?
that Tuesday.
Normal day for you to work there?
Yes,
Do you work there?
I do.
When's the next time you see Monica?
A long time. I don't see her for a while.
Well, you learned that, obviously, and you knew that Fabio had been murdered, correct?
Yes.
Did you ever go to her house during any grieving period they were in?
Yes.
And can you tell us and tell the jury approximately how many days that was after the murder, if you remember?
A couple of days, maybe a week. I don't remember offhand.
Did you go with anybody?
I went with a group
A group from where?
from the racquetball league.
Okay, do you remember any of their names?
I believe it was Ricky, Sheila, Paula, Matt. I think that was it.
Okay. And why did you go with them to her house?
I'm going to object that it seems facts not evidence.
So
You
rule.
didn't say you went there.
So why did I go is because they asked me to go because they said they knew that me and her were that she talks to me a lot, and
And why were they going, if you know?
because they wanted to go and pay their respects. But I didn't really want to go. I didn't want to go at all.
Well, but you went.
I did.
And do you remember how you all got there, or at least how you got there?
I didn't want to drive my car up there. I didn't want to have nothing to be seen up there, so I went with Matt.
Matt Nurse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Matt was driving. I asked, can I ride with him?
And when you got to the house, were there a lot of people there?
Yeah, there was a lot of people.
Did it look like a gathering there to like a wake kind of thing?
It was something like that, yeah.
Okay. They had food there?
I don't even remember that.
About how many people did you see there?
30, 40, I'm
Did-
assuming.
Other than the co-workers you were with, did you recognize anybody else there besides Monica?
I did not.
Did you see Monica there?
I did.
And did you go over to her and talk to her?
I tried to.
Well, tell me what you did.
First I looked, and I saw her, and I saw she was a total wreck.
Okay?
So it messed me up really bad when I saw that. I never saw something like that
Had you
before.
ever apologized to her in any way, or said you were sorry, or sent any message to her?
Not that I remember. Not that I remember. I don't remember.
You recall sending her a text message?
I don't remember. Not during that time, no. I don't remember.
You could have, but you don't remember.
Yeah.
But you saw her in person at the house.
Yes.
And what did you do with her, if anything?
I wanted to talk to her.
But what did you do?
I eventually approached her when I could because she was surrounded by a lot of people. And I wanted to find out why. I mean, I know why she was messed up like that. But I wanted to find out what the hell was going on with her. Like, like is she losing it because of me doing this thing? And that's what it was. I was just trying to see
If you were responsible.
yeah.
But as far as you know, she didn't know that you did it.
No.
You didn't tell her, did you?
No.
How long did you stay there at the house?
I don't know, maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Not even that long, I don't think.
And did you leave with the other people, or did you leave
Yes.
by yourself?
I had to leave with Matt because I rode with him.
All right. Did you have any interaction with any of her family, talking to you or looking at you in a funny way or anything like that?
Only thing I remember was her mother.
And what do you remember about her mother?
Her mother just asking me who I was, and all, just being a mother,
Okay. Did you answer her?
I told her, I said, I'm just a friend, just concerned. What can I tell her? Nothing I could tell her.
So you leave
Eventually, yeah, within,
with the same friends who took you there?
yes,
And where did they take you when you left?
back to LA Fitness, get my car.
And did you get your car?
I did.
Okay. And where did you go?
I think I probably eventually was going to Vegas. I had to get somebody to take my place at LA Fitness to look after my league, because I wanted to get out of LA.
Did you get out of LA?
I did eventually.
When you say eventually, tell me approximately how many days or weeks after the murder.
A week, about 5 days, something like that. Just enough so I can cover somebody covering my league.
Okay. And what about Mr. Austin? When do you next hear from him, if you do?
I think I heard from him the next day. He said he got in.
Pardon?
That he got in.
Safely.
Yes.
Okay. So when you go to Vegas, do you drive there?
I drive
You go by yourself?
by myself.
You run into anybody there in Las Vegas that you know?
I stayed with Birdsong.
Did you tell him about what you had done?
No.
Did he appear to know that the murder or the death of Mr. Sementilli had occurred?
No.
You hadn't told him that you were seeing her on the side?
He knew that part.
Okay.
He knew that part. I didn't tell him anything about a death or anything.
Mr. Baker, was Mr. Birdsong a part of the conspiracy to kill Fabio Sementilli?
No.
Did you ever talk to him about your plan to kill him before the murder occurred?
I never talked to Mr. Birdsong about a plan to kill Fabio.
You never had three-way conversations with him and Mr. Austin about how you were going to kill Mr. Sementilli?
No.
At some point, do you become aware, or does Mr. Birdsong make you aware that he knows that Mr. Sementilli had been murdered?
Eventually, I tell him that he died in a home invasion,
Okay.
but I don't tell him I did it.
You ever tell him you did it?
No.
How long were you in Las Vegas then after the murder?
My mind is reeling. Say that one more time.
How long do you stay in Las Vegas
Oh.
after the murder?
I think maybe a week.
And do you have any contact with Monica?
During that time, no.
When's the next time after the murder that you have any contact with Monica? If you can recall.
Weeks and weeks. Weeks.
How did that occur?
I don't even remember how many weeks it was, but it was quite a bit of time. I hit her with a text and basically asked, "Are you okay?"
And did she respond to you?
And she goes, basically, sort of, you like, I'm okay. That's it. Kind of. It was like a really quick answer, like, I'm okay.
Now, you begin seeing her again, don't you?
Eventually,
Okay. You remember the first time that you saw her again after the murder?
yes, I do. I remember.
And where was that, if you can tell us? I remember.
I met her in Glendale.
Restaurant someplace?
It was like a bar. It was like a bar. Because I asked her, "You want to have a drink? You want to talk about it?"
And when you say want to talk about, you mean the death of her husband?
Yeah, about her.
Did she appear to be upset about that still?
Oh, she was upset. She was upset.
Did you ever in any way tell her that you had killed her husband?
No.
you are eventually arrested with her on June 14th, 2017, correct?
Take your word for it.
Okay. During those 4 months after you first saw her after the murder, do you continue to see her as you had before the murder?
Yes.
Okay. And at any time during that period, do you tell her in any way that you are responsible for the death of her husband?
No, I don't.
You do travel with her, don't you?
I did travel with her.
Do you remember where you went?
Just Vegas and just around LA
You ever go to Myrtle
I did.
Beach?
and Myrtle Beach.
How did that happen? Do you remember?
I told her I always wanted to go to Myrtle Beach. I wanted to see if she could take a trip just to get away,
Okay.
and she wanted to go with me.
Did she?
She did.
Was this, did you attempt to keep this a secret from the other people?
Yeah, not a secret. There's no reason to tell them, but I didn't
Okay.
tell anybody.
Did you tell anybody that you were going away with her?
I think I don't remember. I might have. I can't remember who.
Well, let me ask you two different questions. Number one, did you tell anybody at work? Did you have to get time off to go on vacation? How does that work?
No. By that time, I had quit. I had quit already.
So when did you quit? How long after the murder?
Probably a month.
And why did you quit?
Mainly so if I could take off. I cared about the league, stupid as that might sound. So I didn't want to just abandon it. It sounded retarded, but I didn't want to abandon it. So I wanted to give it to somebody who could handle it.
You remember who took over for you?
Yes, I do.
Who?
Sean McCullum.
Okay. So you go to Myrtle Beach. Who paid for it?
Well, I paid for most of it. She paid for her own flight. So I paid for everything else.
Okay. How long you in Myrtle Beach?
A couple of days, 4 days, maybe 3 days,
Right.
2 days, something like that.
You
I don't remember that. A couple of days, like a weekend.
You just there alone, or did you go with anybody?
No, just me and her.
Okay. Then you come back from Myrtle Beach, correct?
Correct.
And are you able to recall or recount the other things you did with her, whether on vacation or in Woodland Hills, Los Angeles,
I think we got I think the arrest came right after that.
after Myrtle Beach?
Yeah, pretty much. I do remember that much.
Okay, so during those 3 months, are you still seeing her?
Beforehand, before Myrtle Beach.
Before and after?
Yeah. I'm still seeing her.
Same manner as you did before?
Yes. Well, it took a little bit to get back to where it was because she was still pretty shaken up. So it wasn't quite that easy.
Did you ever run into her family at all in Los Angeles who's staying with her? Or?
Oh, yeah. But I can't remember if it was before or after this happened. I can't remember. I did meet them. I just don't remember. I just don't remember when.
Are you still keeping this a secret
From her family, yeah.
from everyone?
Yes, from everyone.
Before your arrest, Mr. Baker, did you share with anyone that you had planned and carried out the murder of Monica Sementilli's husband, Fabio?
Just with Austin. That's it.
Do you keep in touch with Mr. Austin in the period before your arrest?
I did.
How did you do that?
I always keep extra phones, like I testified earlier. So I told him to get an extra phone so I could keep in touch with him, just to make sure he was still kind of stable, because he was pretty shooken up over this too. So I didn't want him to go.
Did you ever find out whether or not Mr. Austin had in fact participated, that is, stabbed Fabio Sementilli as you had?
You know, I never asked, but it makes sense now.
What makes sense?
That the way he acted afterwards, he was really in a bad way. I never understood why, because I just really didn't understand why. I thought it was just because of him being there, but I guess he did stab. I don't know if he did or not. I don't know. I don't remember.
You've learned since then through the litigation and so
Yes.
forth that he did stab.
Right.
Did
But
he ever tell you that?
No.
Admit to that?
Never told me. We never talked about it like that. We never talked about it. We didn't want to talk on the phone like that.
After well, you and Monica are arrested, as I said, on June 14th, 2017. Is that correct?
Take your word for it.
Okay. And you're arrested in the same car, is that right?
Yes.
And then you end up in county jail in various locations, is that right?
Yes.
Do you ever write a letter to Monica?
Yes.
Well, before we get there, I'm running ahead. Can you tell the jury when it was that you decided to enter a plea of no contest, meaning guilty in this case?
I don't know when, but I know why.
So we discussed sometime in July 2023.
Yeah, right.
That sound right?
Correct.
Can you tell us why you decided to do that?
There's a couple of reasons why. One of them was my lack of ability to get information.
What do you mean by that?
I could not get information on the case itself. It was difficult.
Well, you had an attorney.
I did have an attorney.
Are you saying he was not informing you of the facts of the case as you would have preferred?
Yes.
How many times, look, you were in prison or in jail, in custody, from June 2017, and then you entered your plea in July 2023, so that's 6 years.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
So for a variety of reasons, COVID intervened. This case was going on for those 6 years, at least,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
How many times do you recall your attorney coming to visit you at the jail?
Maybe 3 times.
In 6 years?
I'm guessing about 3 times.
Was he your only source of legal advice, legal information at that time?
For the case, yes.
So he was the one attorney that was assigned to you.
I had other attorneys, but he was my primary one for this part.
I'm talking about the murder case, not attorneys you've used in the past for other things.
Correct.
So what did you do to try to get more information about the facts of the case and the evidence against you and so forth if you weren't getting it from your attorney?
I was getting it from people who were coming to visit me, the newspaper, because it was all over the nursepaper, it was all over TV. I don't know where they were getting the information from, but I figured I could get something out of that from Monica herself. If I could, she was one of my sources.
Now, is it clear to you now, or well, I'll start off back then. Was it clear to you back then that when you were communicating with Monica in jail that it was being tape recorded?
I did. Or it was a potential for it. It was a potential for it.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know if it was going to be recorded or not, but I always knew there was a possibility it could be.
Had you encountered that when you were in prison the last time?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. You were aware that happened?
Yes.
Okay. But nevertheless, you had conversations with her, hours and hours of conversations. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
And how did you get information from her about the case?
I knew she was scared. I could hear it in her voice, so.
Let me interrupt you for 1 second.
Okay.
Did you ever tell her during any of those years when you were in contact with her in jail that you had in fact killed her husband?
Never.
What did you say about the murder?
What did I say about the murder?
Yeah. Did you say you did it or someone
No.
else did it or what?
No, we never discussed it. We never discussed it because I mean, she would kind of let me know things along the way because I would pretend, I would act like I'm concerned, which I am concerned because I do want to know. But I would just want to know, she would just let me know how things would progress. This was beforehand. So how things would progress if something was going on, because I wanted to know for myself. Because if there was anything going on, I needed to get out of town, I would go. So I would just pay attention to what she was talking about.
This is before the arrest.
Yeah, and never during, I would never bring it up.
Well, in jail it was brought up, obviously, right?
Whether me doing it or not, no.
Well, you said you learned about the facts and the evidence against you from Monica in part,
Okay, yeah, bits and pieces,
and different people.
and different people.
How did you learn about it from Monica? What kind of things would you say to her?
I would just listen. I would listen. I can't even remember discussion. I was more of a listener than anything.
Would she tell you facts about the case she was learning from her attorneys?
Bits and pieces, yeah. Bits and pieces.
Did she ever tell you that she knew you had killed her husband?
At one point, I kind of figured she figured it out.
When was that?
The day she called me a fucking murderer.
Okay. And can you give me a time period after the arrest that occurred?
A year and a half, maybe, into it.
Before then, did you maintain your innocence to her?
I did.
Why?
I didn't want her to know.
What do you think would happen if she knew?
Fucking murderer. I knew she was going to do that.
Now, after she said that to you, did she engage in any further communications with you?
No.
Before she said that, you're aware that there were hours and hours of communications that were recorded.
I do.
During those communications, what were you telling her about the murder?
I don't remember. I really don't remember. It wasn't really I don't remember. I really don't. Because we had, like you said, it was hours of conversation, so I don't remember. I talked to her about everything. Everything. Jail.
About the evidence?
I try not to make it a point of talking about it. I don't remember even talking about that, bringing it up. I don't remember. I might have. I don't know.
Did you tell her that you would even lie and plead guilty to get her out?
I said that because she felt lost, and I didn't want her to believe that I would. I knew the truth. Only I did. So I wanted to tell her that to make her feel that I would do that.
That you would lie and admit something you didn't do. You ended up admitting something you did.
I did.
Now, without getting too explicit, did you tell her to engage in some kind of sexual conduct while she was in the jail?
To kill somebody?
No, sexual.
Oh, I thought we were talking about killing somebody. I don't know. I might have. I don't know.
Well, you tell her to touch herself or
To-
masturbate or do things of that nature?
To kill somebody?
No, not to kill somebody. We're talking about sexual.
Oh, we're talking about that again. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. We might have. It's jailing. It's jailing. If you've been in jail, you jail. That's how you jail.
Well, I don't
Past
know.
time.
I don't
No,
know
you've
what
never been
that
to jail.
is.
I know.
That's how you jail.
I'm going to object to counsel's testimony. It's not a question.
I'm sorry, that was not improper. That's the next person.
We have 1 minute, Your Honor. You get me so excited, pull your pants down?
I might have. I don't remember all because we had a lot of conversations. I might have.
When she said she was worried about camera scene, did you say it doesn't matter, I don't give a fuck?
I probably did.
Why'd you do that? Why'd you tell her to pull her pants down?
Jailing, man. Jailing is like golfing and bowling. You got to bowl. You jail. That's how you jail when you do time.
You ever tell her you were her master, maestro?
It's a nickname. She used to call me that, goofing around before all this.
Do you ever tell her or instruct her to perform sexual acts with other men on the bus for your benefit?
I might have. Maybe. I might have.
Did you ever say you need to be a whore out there for me while you can, then tell me about it?
Could have been. Maybe.
Why'd you do that?
It's jailing.
You know about the incident involving the sperm and the toothpaste?
Oh, I heard about the killer toothpaste, yeah. I heard about it.
What do you know about that?
I'm trying to remember how that came about.
Did
I'm
you
just trying to
send
figure
her-
out. I'm just trying to figure out why it's a big deal. I'm gonna try to answer your question. I really am.
Object non-responsive, move to strike.
I'm going to allow that to remain.
All right. I'll withdraw.
I think I got a kite that said, "Can you send me something of you?"
And when you say you got a kite, what do you mean by
I mean,
a kite?
that means you get something from somebody in jail. It's part of jailing, and you get it from somewhere somehow, and you know who it comes from. And she's, can you send me something of you? So I'm like, all right.
Well, how did you learn all these things? You say you know this. So, because you had been in jail before?
Because I've been in jail so long. This time, I've been here a long time.
You knew Monica hadn't been in jail before.
No, I know that.
So were you teaching her this?
I'm not teaching her anything.
Well, did you teach her how to make three-way calls?
No. How could I do that?
Did you make three-way calls?
I did.
And what was the purpose of three-way calls?
To communicate with her.
Pardon?
To communicate with her.
With her?
Yeah.
How would you do that?
I would call a number. She would call a number and merge the call.
And how did she know what number to call?
I gave her a number.
How would you give her the number?
She would call somebody, gave her the number, said to call that number. She would call the number. I would call the number.
So you taught her how to communicate with you in the jail.
If that's, I guess so. If that's teaching her, maybe she knew how to do it already. I don't know.
Okay? But she followed your instructions, right?
For that time. No. You explained. You told me to explain it. I explained it. She may have already known this already.
Okay. But you ended up having a lot of three-way calls, didn't you?
I believe so. Yeah, we did.
And you exchanged a lot of kites, is that right?
I don't know, a few. I don't know about a lot, but a few.
And you knew your cells were being searched? Did you know that?
I did know that eventually.
Well, did you know it while you were in there?
Yes, I did.
And you did it anyway, right? You
Oh.
exchanged.
Yeah, the answer is yeah. Yeah, pretty much yeah.
Did you have codes with her, like secret codes that you would write, secret messages in code?
We developed a way to do it.
Who developed the way to do it?
I came up with it.
You did?
Yeah.
How'd you do that?
Jailing. You just sit in jail and you got plenty of time to think of stuff. So I come up with a possible way to be able to talk in peace.
Can you explain how you did the code and how you taught it to her?
I need to see the code again to remember. It might take me a while to figure it out because it's been a long, long time.
Well, rather than do that, it would take me a while to find it. Do you use like letters and numbers?
Yeah, letters and numbers.
To mean other letters or numbers?
Yeah.
And somehow, how do you give the code, how to break it to the other person?
You have to have a code word.
And did you do that?
That's what we did.
Mr. Baker, there reached a time we discussed earlier when you decided to enter a plea of guilty in this case. Is that right?
Correct.
You said you could have gotten a deal previously, but you never took it?
It was during that same time.
Did you ever take a deal?
Never.
Did you believe you could have had a deal if you wanted to, if you would have testified against Monica?
Yes.
Who told you that?
My attorney.
Or named the second person?
That was part of that deal. That was what he alluded to.
And you did neither. Is that correct?
I did nothing. Yeah.
Why were you protecting? I understand why you didn't want to take a deal against Monica. You didn't think she had anything to do with it.
Correct.
Why did you want to protect Mr. Austin?
Because I felt they had nothing.
No evidence.
That's the way I felt at the time. So I didn't want to say nothing about anything regarding him.
Even if it meant less time for you.
Yeah, exactly.
So, tell us how you decided to enter a plea in this case, how you did that.
Well, like I said, I had four reasons to go ahead and plead no contest. One was the lack of information. The other reason was what I felt was lack of due process. I felt like it wasn't going my way at all. And the third one was the proffer deal, when I knew that there was no other way out except just go ahead and plead no contest.
Well, you didn't get a proffer deal.
No, they said I didn't. They said I didn't, but in that tank, I was told this. When I was in that tank, that's what that lawyer told me. He said, I told them the story, and it was, and he looked at me and said, and I looked at him and I said, they want her and they want a guy, huh? And he goes, I said, can't do it. I would be lying.
So what? You could have gone to trial.
I could have gone to trial.
Why didn't you?
I knew I wasn't going to get it. I knew it wasn't going to work. The due process thing was a problem.
You knew you were guilty,
I knew I was guilty too.
and you knew your DNA was found.
And
Correct.
that's it.
So when you decided to enter a plea, how did you go about doing that?
I just told him, just go ahead and tell him I'm going to plead out.
You told your lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
and he told the judge.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So at that point, again, you were not getting any benefit for your entry of the guilty plea, were you?
No, I wasn't.
Did you know at the time that you decided to do that you would be sentenced to life without parole, the most serious sentence you can get in this state other than the death penalty?
I knew I was going to get life, period. I didn't know I was going to get all the extra stuff, but yeah.
When did you find that out?
The day he read the sentence off.
So you thought you were going to be able to get out of jail?
No. I didn't think that at all.
You thought you were pleading to the rest of your life in jail?
For sure. Yeah, I did.
And you did that?
I did.
And you got sentenced to life without parole, isn't that right?
Yes.
Now, after that, do you recall myself and my investigator, Mr. Dawson, coming to see you at the county jail?
I did.
And did we ask you whether or not Monica had anything to do with the murder?
Yeah, I remember the question.
Remember what you told us?
I said she has nothing to do with this.
Remember us asking you if you would be willing to testify truthfully in court
I said I would.
with no deal?
Yep.
You
I said
agreed to
that.
do that?
I did.
Okay. And that's why you're here today and yesterday, correct?
Yes. Yes, sir, I am.
In the meantime, did you ever write a letter to Monica that we had given to her at your request? Remember that?
I do remember.
Did you write that after or before you entered your plea?
It was after.
And, well, Your Honor, I have marked as defense exhibit next, 628, a 7-page letter.
Very well.
Prosecution has seen it. I think we've mentioned it in their opening statement. I approach you.
Again, you approach without permission.
Thank you. I'm not going to have you read this, Mr. Baker.
Your Honor, I'm going to object, and, sorry, I snoozed for a second there. I'm old. Object and move to strike counsel's statement that I mentioned at my opening. It actually was that I didn't mention it.
Very well.
Well, I guess the reporter knows, and it's not a big issue. Mr. Baker, is this the letter you gave us to give to Monica?
Yes.
You recognize it? It's,
Yep.
is that your handwriting?
That is my handwriting.
Okay, it's a 7-page letter.
Okay.
Now, in that letter, did you tell the truth?
No, I didn't.
What did you lie about?
About who the second person was.
And why did you lie about that?
To throw the prosecution and the police off track.
Still protecting Mr. Austin?
Just trying to.
Okay. Did you lie at all about your role in the commission of the murder?
I did.
What did you lie about?
I tried to lessen it.
Make it sound less
Horrible.
horrible. And how did you attempt to do that?
But it was just a message to her to let her know how I felt. I didn't want her to think I just did it just to be as ruthless and heinous as they're trying to make it out to be. Like I was cold, like it was, and it was, but I wanted her to know.
So you came up with a version that made it look like you were kind of acting in self-defense a little bit, that he had attacked you. And
Counsel's testifying.
Just name.
well, the letter speaks for itself, but you tried to minimize
My role.
your role, how it occurred.
Yes.
Now, you knew that letter wasn't going to have any effect on your sentence or your plea.
No.
So why'd you want it sent to her?
So she could see it and at least kind of feel that, or see that I did this because I wanted her. It was a way of doing that. And I also wanted to see if this letter would get out to the media, which it did.
It made you look better than you look now.
Very true.
Is that a fair statement?
It's a fair statement.
Now, you gave that letter to myself and Mr. Dawson to give to Monica, correct?
Correct.
And it contained lies in it as to what had happened that night, correct?
True.
You recall us telling you that we would not call you to the stand unless you told the truth?
I do remember that.
Did you ever then correct the lies that were contained in that letter?
Yeah, I came and told you guys the truth after a while.
Now, you say after a while. We came to see you several times, right?
Correct.
And we provided you with the information about the facts of the case that you never got from your attorney, right?
Well, I'm going to object this seems facts, not evidence.
It's overruled.
You guys brought me what I asked for that I needed to know.
Some of the evidence in the
Yes.
case, including playing some of the overhears to you
That was new to me.
and telling you, the autopsy results, the facts that were being proven.
Yeah,
Yes.
Bleeding.
I'll allow this.
did we then ask you to tell us what really happened?
You did?
And did you eventually do that?
I did.
Now, along the way, did you continue to try to protect Mr. Austin?
I tried.
And in some of the interviews you had with us, did you tell us that the second person was someone named Jbird?
Jbird, JB, yeah.
Was that a real person or someone you made up?
Someone I made up.
And you told us a story that he was the second person and joined you and so forth and so on, correct?
That was the story I gave you guys, yeah.
Now, when was it when you finally told us the truth about Mr. Austin?
When I called my mother, and she told me they're looking for a guy named JB. And it amazed me how much information was being put out, and I knew it was useless to continue this farce.
Did you know whether or not Mr. Austin had eventually confessed and gotten a deal or leniency for his testimony?
Well, yeah, you told me about it later, yeah. I didn't know about it until much, later.
And after we told you he had pled guilty, did you then confirm that he, in fact, was the second killer?
I told you guys, yeah.
But before we had told you that he had confessed to being the second killer, were you still trying to protect him?
I was.
So after he had admitted it anyway, what, you felt it was okay now because you wouldn't be a snitch?
Again, bleeding.
I'll allow that.
Yeah, I don't want to tell on the man at all.
In fact, when you told us finally that Mr. Austin was the second killer, you told us that you thought he hadn't even stabbed Mr. Sementilli at all, right?
I didn't know, no. I didn't think he did.
You only learned that when we told you that's what he had said.
Yep. I was surprised.
So after Mr. Austin had confessed, was there anyone else that you were trying to protect who had really participated in the murder?
No, there was no other participants.
And did you then tell us everything that you recalled happening that day involving the murder and your relationship with Monica, I'm sorry.
The best I could, yeah, the best I can.
And have you told us the truth today as to everything that you did and everything that she did?
To the best of my recollection. Yes,
You took an oath,
I did.
correct? Does that mean anything to you?
It does.
What?
It means that I'm swearing to God that I'm going to tell the truth. Like that statement I wrote was trash. I didn't swear to that. That was fables. That's not even a true statement. It's not an official statement.
You swore in this case.
This one I am. I'm swearing on this one.
Now, you are a convicted murderer, correct?
Yes.
And you committed a heinous crime.
Yeah, I did.
But are you telling the truth about what happened?
It's nothing to lose.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm nothing further.
Leave a man fire.